Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we're going to be talking about The Invisible Man. So The Invisible Man, basically the plot for this film, because this story has been done, a number of different times. With this version, you have this woman, Cecile, who is played by Elizabeth Moss, and she's in this really a toxic, abusive relationship with this guy. So she decides to, try and escape. And she does, but shortly after that ends up finding out that this boyfriend of hers ends up committing suicide. And, things are good for a while because she actually ends up coming into this inheritance of $5 million. But it's all contingent upon her not committing any crimes and being able to maintain that she is, still sane. So weird things start happening and she starts being tormented by this force that she can't see and she can't really explain to anyone else. So that's basically the plot of this film. Now, I grew up watching all of the classic Universal monster movies when I was a little kid. I remember going to Blockbuster with my parents, and those were the movies that I would, rent all the time when I was really, really young, and actually became, one of the reasons why I'm such a big horror fan that I am today. And now you guys know these stories have been done a number of times over the years by Universal, and a lot of them have been pretty lackluster. So I was definitely I wanted to see this film just because of my love of the Universal horror monsters, but I was definitely a little nervous. Just would this be another lackluster attempt at one of these classic monsters that we have? Now we'll go ahead and get right into the things that I really like about this film. First off, we'll start with Leigh Whannel. So he is the director and writer of this film, and I thought that he did a fantastic job of bringing this classic tale from started it was like in the 1800s. It was a book, ended up being a movie with the Universal Monster series, and it's been done a number of different times. But I thought that he did a great job of bringing it into this modern era. I thought all of the characters were really well written, and I thought just the directing was fantastic. There was some shots throughout the film where he would, it'd be focused on, Elizabeth Moss character or someone, and then it would slowly pan to this other corner of the room, and it would just sit there for a couple, seconds or whatever, and you're like, okay, I know the Invisible Man or something is there, something's gonna happen. So with that, I thought he did a really good job of creating tension, and he pretty much did that throughout, right from the beginning of the movie when she is fleeing, her boyfriend at the time, and throughout the rest of the film, I really didn't feel like he let up at all. So, and I was not expecting this. I don't know, this movie, I wasn't expecting it, I guess, to be as tense and, as much of a thriller as I thought it ended up, turning out to be. So, and I really enjoyed that. But, those shots were really cool. And throughout the film, another thing I was a little worried about is with the trailers, did they show too much? And I don't think they did at all. And actually, throughout this film, there were several times in the movie where I thought that the movie was going in one direction, but then he ended up pulling out the rug from you guys, and you're just like, holy crap, I did not see that coming. So there are several surprises and twists throughout this film that I was really happy with, because it could have, if I feel like put in another director's hands, this could have been a very generic, another lackluster attempt at a Universal monster movie. Elizabeth Moss. So she is the main focus of this film. This whole story is pretty much told from her perspective. So if you didn't have a good actor for this role, this movie really could have been pretty crappy. But luckily, she gave an awesome performance with Cecile. I thought that, she had a great character arc throughout the film too. So when we first meet her, she's really kind of, weak and kind of broken down because of all of this abuse and stuff that she's been through with this boyfriend of hers. But throughout the film, and by the time we get to the end, she really kind of takes her life in her own hands. And she really kind of has to, because of what has happened throughout the film, because you feel bad for her, because how, you imagine yourself in that situation, and who would really believe you that there's an invisible person stalking you and doing all these different things? Everyone would probably think you're insane. So I thought that, it was a great character arc, taking her from where she went and ended up at the end of the movie. I was really satisfied with that. She was excellent, just portraying that this person that was really broken and afraid to even go out of a house because she was afraid that this guy could show up somewhere. So she was great, especially having to act against, nothing, or I assume like a tennis ball or something, because where this person's invisible, she's just kicking, fighting someone that you can't see. So she gave an excellent performance, and I think obviously she's definitely a standout in this film. But not only just her character, I thought that everyone else that was in here as well really did a good job. So you had her sister was in the film, and then you had sister's friend, and then his daughter. They definitely didn't have as much screen time throughout the film, but I thought that when they were on screen, they were really likable and enjoyable characters. So when certain things happened throughout the movie, you really care about what is happening to these characters. And one of them in particular, I was really shocked. I did not see that, and that's one of the twists that I was talking about. So did not see that coming, but I won't go into details because I want you guys to experience that for yourselves. Like I said, guys, I thought this movie was a lot more tense than I was expecting it to be. Pretty much right from the get-go, when she's leaving, her boyfriend, the film starts off tense right there, and it doesn't really let up throughout the rest of the movie. So I thought did a great job with that. I was on the edge of my seat. I was with my fiance, and I was actually surprised she ended up coming to this movie, because she's not really a big horror fan, but she really enjoyed it. It was the edge of your seat thriller, so it wasn't really like a true horror movie, but it was like more of like a horror thriller. But you were on the edge of your seat. The theater was packed, and you can just kind of looking around a couple times when certain scenes happened, you could see people kind of just like sitting there back like in their seats, like, oh my god. So I thought that Leigh, Whannel, the cast, they did a great job with this. As far as like there is some scares throughout the movie, like I said, this was very tense. There is definitely some jump scares, but it's not those cheap kind of jump scares that you get in kind of your typical PG-13 crappy like horror films that we get, January and every once in a while throughout the rest of the year. I thought that the jump scares that were in this were definitely well earned and, very effective. So definitely don't have to worry about that. And I also thought that the score was done really well. Now, for most of this movie, it's very quiet, and I sense that's a theme that we're getting this year, because I thought The Lodge, was a very quiet film, very tense. This film, and then I'm assuming A Quiet Place will probably be the same thing, where the first one was. So it seems to be a little theme that we have going on this year. But yeah, for the most part, the movie was very quiet, but that added to the tension driving that throughout the film. But when the score did come on, I thought that it was done really well and complemented the movie. So overall, guys, if you can't tell by now, I really enjoyed this film. It is by far, we're still really early in the year, but by far my favorite movie up to this point in 2020. So I am really satisfied with what they did. I can't wait to check out more of Leigh Whannell's projects. And actually, I have never seen, or I've yet to see, Upgrade, so I really need to go check that out now. So overall, guys, I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the film down below in the comments. What is your favorite Universal horror movie monster? Let me know down below in the comments as well. And if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it. That's where you get notifications for all my new videos. I definitely got some really exciting stuff coming your way, guys, so keep an eye out for that. And as always, make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.